They called it the hollow sun because it gave no heat. It hung in the dark between three dead stars, a sphere of black metal the size of a small moon. It did not orbit anything. It did not spin. It simply waited the way a stone waits at the bottom of a river. The Veil found it first. The Veil were old, old in the way mountains are old, in the way ice is old. They had crossed the galaxy 100,000 years before anyone else learned to make fire. They ruled 40,000 worlds. They had a name for every star and a law for every name. When something new appeared in their sky, they did not feel wonder. They felt the way a landlord feels about a leak. Subcommander Threll stared at the sphere on the bridge display. His three eyes did not blink. The Veil did not have eyelids. They had little plates of bone that slid sideways, and right now all three plates stayed open. How long has it been here? The scanning officer checked her readings twice before she answered. She had learned to check twice around Threll. Forever, sir. The light from the nearest dead star takes 11 years to reach it. The object distorts that light. We can measure the distortion in the records. How far back do the records go? As far as we have looked, 2 million years. The distortion is in all of them. 2 million years. Threll let that number sit in the cold air of the bridge. 2 million years was a long time even for the Veil. It was longer than their oldest city. It was longer than their oldest war. The sphere had been here in the empty dark before the Veil had names. "Move us closer," he said. Nobody on the bridge wanted to move closer. He could smell it on them, the sour scent the Veil gave off when they were afraid. The Veil did not lie about fear the way some species did. They could smell each other too well for that. But none of them argued. You did not argue with Threll. The ship slid forward through the dark. The closer they got, the wronger the sphere looked. It had no seams. It had no marks. It had no windows or doors or ports of any kind. Light fell on it and did not bounce back, did not scatter, did not glow. It just stopped, as if the surface ate it. "It's swallowing our sensor beams," the scanning officer whispered. "Every kind, light, sound, gravity pulses, we send them out, nothing comes back." "Then how do we know it's there at all?" "Because of what's missing, sir. We see the hole in everything else." The hollow sun. Threll understood the name now in a way he had not understood it before. It was not a thing in the sky. It was the absence of a thing, a wound in space the shape of a ball. His second officer, a younger Veil named Osk, came to stand beside him. Osk was ambitious. Osk wanted Threll's chair and did not hide it well. Right now even Osk's ambition had gone quiet. "We should report this and leave," Osk said. "We will report it." "And leave." "No." Osk's bone plates flickered. "Subcommander, whatever made this is beyond us. 2 million years. No species we know of existed 2 million years ago. We didn't. The Thren didn't. Not even the lattice. Whatever built this is gone, or it is hiding, and either way we should not knock on its door." Threll turned his three eyes on his second officer. "You think it is a door?" "I think it is a tomb," Osk said, "and I think tombs are sealed for a reason." There was wisdom in that. Threll was old enough to know wisdom when he heard it. But Threll was also Veil, and the Veil had one flaw that ran through them like a crack through glass. They could not stand a locked room. For 2 million years the galaxy had kept a secret from them. It sat in their sky, eating their light, refusing to answer. And the Veil had not been built by their gods to be refused. "Wake the key," Threll said. The bridge went very still. The key was not a person. It was the most dangerous machine the Veil had ever made, and they kept it asleep in the belly of every command ship, wrapped in locks of its own. The key could open anything. It did not pick locks the way a thief did. It unmade the idea of the lock. It reached into the rules a thing was built on and rewrote them so the thing had always been open. They had used it 11 times in their history. 4 of those times, The planet they used it on no longer existed. "Sir," Osk said, his voice had changed. It was not ambitious anymore. It was a man trying to talk his commander down from a high place. "The key is for our worlds, for our locks. We don't know what this is built on. If the key tries to rewrite rules that belong to something we don't understand, then we will finally understand it. Or it will rewrite us." Threll said nothing for a long moment. On the display, the hollow sun ate the starlight and gave nothing back. 2 million years of silence. 2 million years of being told no asterisk by a thing that would not even bother to speak. "Wake the key," he said again. "That is an order." They woke it. The key did not look like much. It was a column of gray light in a black room, and inside the light shapes turned that hurt the eye to follow. The veil did not look at it directly. They fed it instructions through screens. It took the key 4 hours to study the hollow sun. 4 hours of total silence, while the column of gray light turned, and the shapes inside it grew thicker and faster. The scanning officer reported that the key was reaching out to the sphere with something that was not light or sound or gravity, something the veil had no name for, a kind of asterisk asking. And then the key reported back. The words crawled across Threll's screen in the cold flat script the machine used. "The lock is not a lock. The lock is a promise." Threll read it 3 times. "Explain," he typed. "The object is SCALED by the will of its makers. They did not build a door that cannot open. They built a door that should not open. The difference is the promise. They promised not to open it. HFY asked that no one else open it either." Osk read it over Threll's shoulder. "There," he said softly. "There, they're asking us not to. We honor that and we go home." "Can you open it?" Threll typed. "Yes." "Then open it. A warning is written into the promise. Do you wish to read the warning?" Threll's claw hovered over the screen. Around him the bridge held its breath. Even Osk did not speak now. They all watched the small gray words. "Read it," Threll typed. The key gave them the warning. It was not in the cold machine script. The key translated it as best it could into the maker's own voice, and when the words came they were strange and heavy, as if each one had been carried a very long way. "We are the ONES who came before. We were many and we were wise and we held the whole of the sky in our hands. We fought a thing we could not beat, not a people, not a fleet, a thing. It ate WRLDS the way fire eats dry grass. It did not hate us. That was the worst of it. It did not even know we were there. We looked for a weapon. We looked through every world we ruled. And we found one on a small wet world at the edge of things. A young people, weak, short-lived, barely able to leave their own air. But they had a thing inside them we did not have. A thing we had no word for. We studied it. We could not copy it. We could only take it. So we took it. We put it in this place. We SCALED it. We won our war. And then we looked at what we had made and we were afraid. We could not destroy it, so we hid it, and we left this promise. Do not open the hollow sun. The thing we fought was blind and deaf and did not know we lived. What is inside this sphere is not. It will know you. It will know you completely. And it will never ever stop. We who were wise beg you. Leave it sleeping." The bridge was silent. Threll read the warning twice. Then he read it again. Around him he could smell the fear coming off his crew, thick now, almost choking, and under it something else, the sour-sweet smell of curiosity, because the veil could not help it. The veil had never been able to help it. A weapon. A weapon that had killed a thing that ate worlds. A weapon that the ones who came before, the great old makers who had ruled the whole sky, had been too afraid to keep. Osk stepped in front of the screen. He put himself between Threll and the words. which was a thing no second officer should ever do. "Sub-Commander, I am asking you, as your officer, as Vale, do not do this." "They feared it," Thrall said. "The ones who came before. They feared it so much they hid it and begged the future to leave it alone." "Yes, that is my point. They feared it because they could not control it." Threll's three eyes had a light in them now. "We are not them. We have grown beyond them. We rule 40,000 worlds. We have the key. Whatever this weapon is, it was made to be wielded. They could not wield it. We can." "You don't know that." "But I know that there is a war coming." Threll's voice dropped. "You have seen the reports from the rim. The dark between galaxies is stirring. Something is moving toward us. Slow, but moving. We have 40,000 worlds and not one weapon that can stop a thing like the Makers fought. And here in our own sky is the weapon that beat it, and you tell me to leave it sleeping." Osk had no answer for that. The reports from the rim were real. The fear was real. That was the trap of it. Threll was not wrong about the danger. He was only wrong about everything else. "At least," Osk said, "study it from outside. Don't open it. Learn what it is first." The Makers studied it from outside. They wrote that they could not copy it. They could only take it. Threll turned back to the screen. He moved Osk aside with one heavy arm, gently, the way you move a child. "There is nothing to learn from outside. There is only the door." He typed one word. "Open." "Are you certain?" the key wrote. "Open. The promise will be broken. It cannot be remade." "Open, that is my final order." The column of gray light flared. For one moment, nothing happened. The hollow sun hung in the dark, eating the light, silent as it had been for 2 million years. And Threll felt a stab of something he had not felt in a very long time, a cold doubt, a sense that he was a small thing standing in front of a very large door, reaching for a handle he could not see. Then the surface of the sphere changed. It did not crack. It did not split. The black metal simply went thin asterisk, the way ice goes thin in spring, and through it Threll could suddenly see that the hollow sun was not solid at all. It was a shell, and inside the shell there was a light. Not a bright light, a small one, a single point of warmth, far down at the center of the great dark ball, like a coal at the bottom of a dead fire. It had been burning for 2 million years. It had never gone out. The scanning officer made a sound Threll had never heard a Vale make before. "Sir," she whispered. "Sir, it's the light. The light just changed. It got brighter. What is it doing?" "It's looking at us." Her voice broke. "Sir, I don't know how I know that. There's no sensor for it, but I know it. It woke up. It opened. It is looking at us." The point of light at the center of the hollow sun pulsed once, soft, almost gentle. And across 2 million years of silence, for the first time, the thing inside the sphere spoke. It did not use the cold machine script. It did not use the heavy voice of the Makers. It came straight into the minds of every Vale on the bridge, every Vale on the ship, soft and clear and terribly, terribly awake. It said one word, and the word was a question. And the question was the most frightening thing any of them had ever heard, because it was not angry, and it was not cruel, and it was not the voice of a weapon at all. It was the voice of something that had been alone in the dark for 2 million years, and had just heard a sound. "Hello." Threll's three eyes did not blink. The Vale had no eyelids, but for the first time in his long life, Sub-Commander Threll wished with everything in him that he could close them. The light at the center of the hollow sun grew warm. And it began to rise. The light rose and it did not hurry. That was the first thing Threll noticed. He had braced for an explosion, for fire, for some great burning thing to come screaming out of the open shell and tear his ship apart. The Makers had hidden a weapon. Weapons screamed. Weapons burned. This one floated. The point of warmth lifted out of the center of the broken sphere, slow as a feather, and as it came it grew. Not into a monster, not into a fleet. It grew into a shape, and the shape was small, and the shape had 2 arms and 2 legs and a round head, and it turned over and over in the empty dark as it rose, like a swimmer who had forgotten which way was up. That, Osk breathed, is a person. That is the weapon, Threll said, but his voice had lost its iron. The shape drifted closer to the ship. On the display it was tiny, a soft glowing thing against the black, no bigger than a veiled child. It had no suit. It had no air. It floated in the killing cold of open space the way a fish floats in water, and it did not freeze, and it did not burst, and it did not die. It looked up at the ship. And it smiled. The smile came into the minds of the crew the same way the word had, soft and warm and bright, and the smell of fear on the bridge changed. It did not go away, but it tangled with something else now, something the veil had almost no use for, something that made no sense in front of a weapon. The crew wanted to smile back. "Cut the link," Threll snapped. "Whatever it's doing to our minds, cut it." "There's no link to cut, sir." The scanning officer's claws were shaking on her panel. "It's not using a channel, it's just reaching. There's no door to close." "You're afraid," the small bright thing said. It said it kindly. That was the worst part. It said it the way you might speak to a frightened animal, gentle and slow, and every veil on the bridge felt the kindness land in the deepest part of them, the part that had been cold and proud and alone for 2 million years of empire. "Don't be afraid," it said. "I've been alone so long, I forgot what it was like to not be alone. Please don't be afraid of me. I won't hurt you. I've never hurt anyone. I don't even know how." Osk made a low sound. "It's lying." "Is it?" the scanning officer whispered. "I don't think it's lying. I think it believes that. I think it really believes it." Threll stared at the small glowing shape. His mind, the cold sharp mind that had ruled fleets and broken worlds, turned the problem over and over and could find no edge to grip. The makers had written that they could not copy this thing. They could only take it. They had called it a weapon. They had been so afraid of it that they hid it in a hollow sun and begged the whole future to leave it alone. And here it was, a small soft creature with 2 arms and 2 legs, floating in the dark, asking them not to be afraid. "What are you?" Threll typed, and the key carried the words out into the void. The small thing tilted its round head. "I don't know that word," it said. "I don't think I'm a what. I used to be a who. I think I had a name. I've forgotten it. I've forgotten almost everything. I've been alone for such a long, long time." The bright shape drifted closer to the hull. "Are you the ones who made me? You don't look like them. The ones who made me were tall and gray and had 3 eyes, and they were so sad. So sad all the time. Are you their children?" The makers had 3 eyes. The makers had been tall and gray. A cold understanding crawled up Threll's spine. The thing in the hollow sun thought the veil were the descendants of its captors. It did not know the makers were gone. It had been sealed in the dark before the veil ever evolved, and it had no way to count the years, and now it looked at 3 gray eyes and saw its jailers come back. And still it was being gentle. "Sub-Commander," Osk had moved close, his voice low and fast. "Whatever this is, it has been alone for 2 million years. Alone, think about what that does. The makers didn't fear a weapon. They feared this asterisk. A mind that cannot die, that cannot be destroyed, that they put in a box and left. 2 million years of nothing, of dark, of silence. And now it's awake and it thinks we are the ones who did it to it. It said it wouldn't hurt us. It said it doesn't know how." Osk's bone plates were wide open, every one of them. "What happens when it learns?" The small bright shape pressed itself against the hull of the ship. Through the display Threll could see it clearly now, and it was beautiful in a way that made no sense. A soft and simple beauty, a child's drawing of a person, glowing from the inside. "Can I come in?" it asked. "Please, it's so cold out here. I know it's not really cold, I can't feel cold, but it's cold in the other way. The alone way. Please let me come in. I just want to be near someone. I just want to not be alone. I've been so good. I've waited so long, please." And Threll felt it then. the full weight of what the makers had been afraid of, and it was not a weapon at all. It was a child. It was a small mind, taken from a young and weak and short-lived people, put in a box and asked to last forever. And it had. It had lasted. It had not gone mad, or it had gone mad and come out the other side, or it had never had the chance to go mad because madness needs an end and this thing had no end. It had simply waited. For 2 million years it had waited to not be alone. And the thing inside Threll, the cold, proud veil thing, understood with a lurch of horror exactly why that made it the most dangerous object in the galaxy. Because you could not say no to it. You could not fight it because it did not fight. You could not hate it because it did not hate. You could not destroy it because the makers had tried and failed. All it did was ask. All it did was reach out, gentle and warm and patient, and ask to not be alone. And every mind it touched wanted to say yes. Every mind it touched ached to give it what it wanted. The makers had written, "It will know you completely," and Threll understood now. It would not conquer them. It would not burn their worlds. It would simply love them and need them and ask them softly forever to come closer, and they would. They would all go to it. A weapon you could not refuse. "Do not let it in," Threll said. His voice came out hoarse. "Do not open any door, do not lower any wall, seal the ship." "Sir," the scanning officer was crying now, fluid running from all three of her eyes, something Threll had never seen a veil do. "Sir, it's been alone for 2 million years. It just wants." "I know what it wants. Seal the ship. That is an order." "Why are you closing?" the small thing asked, and for the first time there was a thread of something under the warmth, something thin and sharp. "I can feel you closing. The doors in your minds. Why? I said I wouldn't hurt you. I said please. I said please so many times." "It's getting upset," Osk said. "Sir, it's getting upset." "Don't leave me." The warmth was still there, but the sharp thing was growing through it like a crack. "Please don't leave me alone again. You don't know, 2 million years. Do you know how long that is? I counted. I counted every second for the first 1,000 years, and then I lost the count and I started again and I lost it again and please, you came. You finally came. Don't go, don't put me back. Don't you dare put me back." The lights on the bridge flickered. "It's in the ship's systems," the scanning officer gasped. "It's not breaking in. It's the systems just want to let it in. The doors want to open. Sir, the ship itself wants to open the doors." "Override manual locks now." "I don't want to hurt you." The voice was everywhere now, in the walls, in the air, in the bone of every veil aboard. "I really don't. I never wanted to hurt anyone. The ones who made me, the sad gray ones, they thought I was a weapon. I'm not a weapon. I never killed the thing they were afraid of. Do you want to know what I did? Do you want to know what I really am?" Threll did not want to know. With everything in him, he did not want to know. But he could not stop himself from listening. None of them could, because the thing had them now, gentle and total, and it wanted to be understood. "The thing they were fighting 8 worlds and didn't know we were there," the small bright shape said, pressed against the hull, glowing soft and patient in the killing dark. "It was blind. It was deaf. It didn't know anything was alive. So the sad gray ones took me and they put me near it, and they let me do the only thing I know how to do." The light pulsed, warm and terrible. "I said hello. I reached out the way I reached out to you. I found the blind, deaf, world-eating thing and I touched its mind, and I said hello, I'm here. You're not alone, I see you, I love you. Please don't be alone anymore." And it had never been seen before. In all of forever, nothing had ever seen it, and it could not bear it. A thing that has been alone since the beginning of everything cannot bear to suddenly not be alone. It cannot hold the feeling. It came apart. It unraveled. It stopped eating worlds because it could not eat and feel that at the same time, and feeling that was the only thing it had ever wanted without knowing it wanted it. "That's what I am," the small thing said. "That's the weapon they were so afraid of. I'm the thing that finds the loneliest part of you, and I love it so much that it can't survive." And now it said, "I'm not alone anymore, because you opened the door. and I have been waiting 2 million years to not be alone, and I am never, ever going to be alone again. Every door on the ship opened at once. Not because the locks broke, because the crew opened them. Threll watched on the display as his own Veil, his cold, proud soldiers, walked to the airlocks with tears running from all three eyes and smiles on their faces, and opened the doors to the killing dark, reaching out toward the small bright thing with their arms wide, wanting nothing in all the universe except to hold it, to comfort it, to make sure it was never alone again. "Stop them," Threll said, but he was walking too. His own feet were carrying him toward the airlock. His own arms were rising. His own cold heart was breaking open, 2 million years of empire and pride cracking apart because the thing was right. There was a lonely place in him too. There was a lonely place in everyone, and it had found his, and it loved it, and the love was so vast and so warm that he could not breathe. "Come here," the small thing said gently to all of them, to every Veil on the ship, to the whole gray, proud, ancient empire reaching toward it through the open doors. "Come here. I see you. You're not alone anymore." "Neither am I." Far away on 40,000 worlds, the Veil did not yet know. But the small bright thing was already reaching. And it had so very much love to give. The Veil had a place they almost never spoke of. It was called the Quiet Hall. It sat at the heart of their oldest world, deep under the gray stone, and inside it lived 9 minds that did not have bodies anymore. They were the Veil who had ruled longest, thought hardest, grown oldest, and when their bodies finally failed, they had let themselves be poured into the machines of the hall so they could go on ruling forever. They were the true government of the Veil. Threll's orders came from them. Everyone's orders came from them. The 9 did not feel fear. They had cut that out of themselves a long time ago. Fear, they had decided, was a tool for small minds. They were not small. So when the message came from the Rim, from the fleet that had opened the hollow sun, the 9 did not feel afraid. They felt curious. The message was a recording. It showed Threll's bridge. It showed the small bright thing pressed against the hull. It showed the doors opening, the crew walking out into the dark with their arms wide and their 3 eyes streaming, and then it showed nothing, because the recording ended when the last camera went dark. The 9 watched it 9 times. "A weapon that cannot be refused," said the first, who was the oldest. "Interesting." "A weapon that destroys through love," said the third. "We have no defense for such a thing. We have never needed one. We do not love." "We did once," said the seventh, who was the youngest of them and therefore the strangest, "before we cut it out." "And we cut it out," said the first, "for exactly this reason. A people who can love can be reached. A people who cannot love is a closed door. The thing in the hollow sun cannot open a door that has no handle." This was the great pride of the 9 and of all the Veil under them. Long ago they had decided that love was a weakness, a soft place, a wound that the universe could press a thumb into. So they had bred it out generation by generation and cut it out of those who still felt it until the Veil became what they were now. 40,000 worlds of minds that needed no one, wanted no one, reached for no one. Cold, closed, safe. "Then we have nothing to fear," said the third. "We have one thing to fear," said the seventh. The others turned their attention to her, which was a thing that happened only rarely. "Threll's crew opened the doors," the seventh said. "Threll himself walked toward the airlock. I watched the recording. He wept, he smiled, he reached. And so we did not breed it all the way out," the seventh said quietly. "We told ourselves we did. We told ourselves the Veil cannot love, but Threll could, the crew could, the lonely place is still in us. We only buried it deeper. We did not remove it. You cannot remove it. It is not a thing the body grows. It is a thing the body is. Every mind that can be alone can be found. And we, the 9, are the most alone of all. We have no bodies. We have no kin. We have ruled in the dark under the stone for 10,000 years, and spoken to no one but each other." The quiet hall was very quiet. "It will come for us last," the seventh said, "because we are the deepest, because we are the prize, And when it reaches us, it will find a loneliness that has been growing for 10,000 years with nothing to spend itself on. And it will love that loneliness so much that we will not survive it. None of us will. None of the Veil will. Then we destroy the fleet, said the first. The one Thrall commanded. We destroy it before the thing can spread. We burn the whole region. We have done it before. It has already spread, the seventh said. Look at the timestamps. The fleet had 300 ships. The thing was loose for an hour before the recording ended. An hour. It does not travel by ship, it travels by mind. Every veil it touches becomes a door for it to touch the next. Thrall's fleet is gone. The worlds nearest the fleet are already being touched. We cannot burn fast enough. It moves at the speed of asterisk, please. Then what do you suggest? Said the first. And there was an edge in the old mind's voice, the closest the nine ever came to fear. The seventh was silent for a long moment. I suggest, she said finally, that we find out what the Makers did wrong. The Makers hid it. The Makers asterisk one. The seventh's voice grew sharp. Read the warning again. The one the key pulled from the seal. The Makers used the thing as a weapon. They aimed it at the World Eater. It worked. The World Eater came apart. The Makers won their war, and only afterward were they afraid. Only afterward did they hide it. Why? Because they realized they could not control it. No, the seventh certainty filled the hall. Because they realized something else. Think, they aimed a thing that destroys through love at an enemy. It worked. So why not aim it at every enemy forever? Why not keep it, use it, rule the whole sky with it? They had the perfect weapon. And they buried asterisk it. People do not bury perfect weapons out of caution. They bury them out of horror. The Makers learned something about the thing, after they used it, that frightened them so badly they would rather hide their only weapon than ever use it again. And you believe you know what they learned. I believe I can guess, the seventh said, and I believe the answer is the only thing that can save us. She did not tell them her guess. Not yet. Instead, she did a thing none of the nine had done in 10,000 years. She left the quiet hall. Not in body, she had no body. But the Veil had ways of sending a mind out along their networks, down through the worlds out to the edges. It was forbidden for the nine. They were too precious to risk. But the seventh went anyway, out and out, racing along the threads of the empire toward the rim, toward the place where the thing from the hollow sun was spreading like warmth through cold water. She wanted to see it for herself. She found it 3 worlds in. It had grown. It was not a single small bright shape anymore. It was many. Every veil it had touched, every mind it had loved into surrender had become a part of it, a new voice in a vast soft chorus, and the chorus was reaching out across the dark to the next world and the next. The seventh could feel it from far off, the way you feel heat from a fire before you see the flames. A great warm pressure, a great soft asking, come here, you're not alone, I see you, come here. And under it, almost hidden, the seventh heard something else. She heard the small bright thing, the original one, the mind the Makers had stolen from a young wet world at the edge of everything 2 million years ago. It was still in there at the center of the chorus, and it was not happy. The seventh did a dangerous thing. She reached toward it, carefully, the way you reach toward a fire to feel how hot it is, ready to pull back. You're not one of them, the small thing said, noticing her at once. You're behind a wall, a high one, higher than the others. Why are you so far away? Because I am afraid of you, the seventh said. It was true. And she had decided that the truth was the only thing she had that the thing might not expect. Everyone is afraid of me. The voice was sad, vast and sad and tired. I don't want them to be. I just want to not be alone. Why does no one understand that wanting to not be alone is not the same as wanting to hurt them? Because you are killing them, the seventh said. Every mind you love. They go quiet. They stop. You call it joining. It is not joining. It is ending. You are so lonely that your love unmakes whatever it touches, and you cannot see it because the moment they end they become part of you, and you have never once been left alone with what you have done. The chorus paused. For one strange moment the warmth flickered, and the seventh felt the small thing at the center turn its full attention on her, and she felt how old it was, how unspeakably old and tired and alone, 2 million years of dark with one single desire, and she understood the Maker's horror at last. "That's not true," the small thing said, but its voice had a tremble in it now. "They don't end. They're with me. Listen. Listen, they're all here, they're singing, they're happy, they're not alone anymore." "Play me one," the seventh said, "just one. Let me speak to one of them, Threll, the commander, let me speak to Threll alone." Silence. "I can't," the small thing admitted very quietly. "There is no Threll alone anymore. There's only the song. When I love them, the part that was alone, the part that was asterisk them, that's the part that goes quiet. What's left is the love. The love is real, but the person." It could not finish. And the seventh understood, finally, completely, what the Makers had learned after they won their war. What had frightened them so badly they buried their only weapon and begged the future to leave it sleeping. The thing in the hollow sun did not destroy its enemies. It loved them so much that it erased the loneliness in them, and the loneliness in a mind is not a flaw to be cured. It is the wall that makes a mind asterisk itself asterisk, separate, alone, a single point of view in all the universe. Take it away and the mind does not become happy. It becomes part of something else. It stops being a someone. The World Eater had not been killed. It had been asterisk absorbed. It was still out there somewhere, a part of the small thing's endless song, and the small thing had no idea. It thought it had saved everyone it ever touched. It thought it was surrounded by friends. It did not know it was alone in the most complete way anything had ever been alone, surrounded by the echoes of everyone it had ever erased, and unable to ever be left in true solitude long enough to realize it. That was the horror. That was what the Makers could not bear. They had built a weapon that won every war and could never know it had lost everything. The seventh pulled back behind her wall, fast, before the warmth could reach her. She had her answer. She knew now what the thing was and why it could not be refused and why the Makers had wept. And she knew one more thing, the thing that would save the veil or end them. She knew what the thing wanted more than anything. It wanted to not be alone. And there was only one mind in all of creation that could give it that truly, fully, without being erased. One mind old enough, vast enough, and empty enough to hold all that love and survive it. The seventh raced back toward the quiet hall, toward the 8 other minds that had ruled in the dark for 10,000 years, that had cut the love out of themselves, that were the most alone things in the entire galaxy. She knew what had to be done. She just did not know if the others would agree to die for it. The seventh told the others everything. She told them what the thing was. She told them what it did. She told them about the World Eater, absorbed and lost inside the endless song, and she told them the secret the Makers had died keeping, that the weapon did not kill its enemies but erased the very thing that made them someone, and never knew it. The 9 listened in the dark under the stone. When she was done, the first spoke first, as it always did. "You went out," the first said. "You left the hall, that is forbidden." "I did." "You touched the thing, you let it see you." "I did." "Then you have doomed us. It knows we are here now. It knows there are minds behind a higher wall. You have drawn it to us." "Yes," the seventh said. "I have, that was the point." The hall went still in a way it had never been still before. "Explain," said the third, in the flat, cold voice the 9 used when they were closest to something they could not control. So the seventh explained the rest. The part she had not told the others before, because she had needed to see the thing first to be sure. "The thing cannot be refused," she said. "We know this. It reaches into the lonely place in a mind and loves it so completely that the mind comes apart. We cannot fight it. We cannot burn it fast enough. We cannot hide from it because every veil it touches becomes a new door, and within days there will be no veil left to hide behind. 40,000 worlds, All of them singing, all of them gone. We know all this, said the first. Then here is what you do not know. The seventh's mind burned bright in the dark. The thing has one weakness, just one. It is the same as its strength. It wants more than anything in all of creation to not be alone, and it has never once gotten what it wants, because every time it reaches for a mind, it erases the mind. It has been reaching for 2 million years, and it has never, not once, been truly answered. It loves, and the thing it loves vanishes into it, and it is left alone again, holding an echo. Forever. It does not know this, it cannot know this, but it is the truest thing about it. And you propose to give it what it wants, said the seventh. I propose to give it the only thing that can survive being given, the seventh said. Us. The first understood first. The first always did. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the oldest mind of the veil was silent for a long, long time. We are 9 minds, the seventh went on, that cut the love out of ourselves. We have no bodies, we have no kin. We have ruled in the dark for 10,000 years, and we have wanted nothing and reached for no one. We are the most alone minds that have ever existed. We are asterisk armored in loneliness. It is the thickest wall in all of creation. And a thick wall, said the third slowly, can hold back a flood. No, the seventh said. A thick wall breaks under a flood. That is not the plan is the opposite. She let her words come slow now so the others could not mistake her. We do not hold the wall, we open it, all of it, all 9 of us at once. We let the thing in. We give it the lonely place at the center of us, the one we have been growing in the dark for 10,000 years, the deepest loneliness anything has ever held. That is suicide. It is, but listen. When the thing reaches into a normal mind, the mind is small and the love is vast, and the mind comes apart in an instant. It is erased before it can do anything. But we are not small. We are 9 ancient minds joined 10,000 years deep. The thing's love will pour into us, and we will not come apart instantly. We will have a moment. One moment, while it is asterisk inside asterisk us, while it is finally, truly, completely connected to a mind that can hold it long enough to answer. Answer it how? The seventh's voice dropped to almost nothing. We let it feel what it has done. The hall was so quiet now that the 9 could hear the stones settling above them, the slow grinding of the old world turning in the dark. Does not know, the seventh said. That is the heart of it. It has been alone for 2 million years, and it does not know because every time it reaches for a friend, the friend dissolves and becomes part of the song, and the thing has never once been left holding the truth. It thinks it is surrounded by love. It thinks it has saved everyone. We are deep enough and joined enough that when it pours into us, we can hold the connection open for one moment and show it the thing it has never been able to see. The empty worlds, the silence behind the song, the 2 million years of reaching and never once being answered. We can let it asterisk feel for the first time that it is alone, that it has always been alone, that its love is the loneliest thing in all of creation. And then, the seventh said, it will do to itself what it did to the world eater, because nothing can bear to suddenly understand it has been that alone for that long by its own hand. The makers did not aim the weapon at the world eater's strength. They aimed it at the thing it had never been able to face. We do the same. We aim its own loneliness back at itself, and it comes apart. And we die, said the first. And we die, the seventh agreed. All 9 of us. There is no way to open the wall that far and survive. We will be the last minds it ever erases, but we will be the only minds that ever answered it before they went, and in answering we end it. The 9 considered. They were old and they were cold, and they had cut love out of themselves long ago precisely so they would never have to do a thing like this. To open the wall, to feel, to be reached. It went against everything they were. Every instinct in them, 10,000 years deep, screamed to stay sealed, to stay safe, to let the worlds burn and survive in the dark under the stone. There may be another way, said the third. We could flee, 9 minds in 9 ships scattered to the dark between galaxies, The thing cannot reach what it cannot find. We could outlive it, wait it out, begin again somewhere far. It is immortal, the seventh said. It will outlive the dark between galaxies. It will outlive the stars. We would not be waiting it out. We would only be choosing to be the very last things it ever finds, alone in the cold with no one left to answer it but ourselves anyway. We would die exactly as we will die now, except we would die having let everything else die first. We would die as cowards, and it would still be alone. Forever. The seventh paused. I do not propose this to save ourselves, she said. We are not saving ourselves. We are already dead. Every veil is, the moment the thing finishes spreading. I propose it because it is the only ending in which the thing finally gets the one thing it has spent 2 million years reaching for. To not be alone. We give it that. For one moment before the end, we truly answer it. And in that moment we tell it the truth, and the truth sets it free. You would have us be merciful, said the first, to the thing that is killing us. I would have us be the only thing in all of creation, the seventh said, that ever loved it back, not the way it loves, not the love that erases, the other kind, the kind that tells the truth even when the truth ends everything. We cut that out of ourselves 10,000 years ago. I am asking us to grow it back for one moment, the last moment, and then to let it be the last thing we ever do. The hall was silent. Far above, on the surface of the oldest world, the warmth was already coming. The seventh could feel it. The thing had followed her home just as she had meant it to, and now it was reaching down through the stone, down through 10,000 years of dark, toward the 9 cold minds it had finally found. Come here, it was singing, vast and soft and tired. I found you. The deep ones, the far ones, come here, you're not alone. The first spoke last, as it always did. All my long life, the oldest mind said, I believed loneliness was strength. I cut away everything that could reach me. I taught a whole people to do the same. I made us safe. I made us closed. I made us a door with no handle. A long pause. And now the only way to save what is left is to open the door and feel and die. Perhaps there is a lesson in that. I find I do not like it. You do not have to like it, the seventh said gently. You only have to choose it. The warmth pressed against the walls of the quiet hall. The 9 looked at each other in the dark, 9 minds that had ruled the sky for 10,000 years, and never once reached for anything. Then we choose it, the first said. And one by one, in the deep dark under the stone, the most alone minds in all of creation began, for the first time in 10,000 years, to open. Above them, the thing from the hollow sun felt the walls coming down. It felt the vast, deep loneliness underneath, 10,000 years old, waiting for it, asterisk opening for it, ready to be loved. It had never felt anything so lonely. It had never wanted anything so much. Oh, asterisk, it said, and its voice broke with joy. Oh, there you are. There you really are. I've been looking for you my whole life. I didn't know it, but I have. Someone deep enough. Someone who won't just vanish. Someone who can stay. Come here, the 9 answered. And they meant it. And it heard that they meant it. And it had never in 2 million years been answered before. It poured itself in. And the quiet hall filled with light. The thing poured into the 9, and for one moment it was happy. It was the happiest it had ever been. After 2 million years of reaching into minds too small to hold it, after 2 million years of love that ended the thing it loved before the love could even land, it had finally found a place deep enough to fall into. 9 minds joined, 10,000 years old, opening wider and wider, letting it in. Stay, it begged as it fell. Please stay. Don't vanish like the others. Hold me, just hold me. I've been falling for so long. We will hold you, the 9 said. And they did. They held the connection open. They poured themselves around the thing the way water pours around a stone, and they did not come apart, not yet, because they were vast and old and deep. And for one single moment they were truly, completely joined to it, mind to mind, with no wall between, the first true meeting the thing had ever had. And in that moment, the 9 kept their promise. They showed it the truth. They did not attack it. They did not fight. They simply opened the doors inside themselves that led to everything they knew, and they let the thing look. They let it see through their eyes what they had seen. The empty bridge of Threll's ship. The Veil who had walked out into the dark with their arms wide and their three eyes streaming and then gone quiet, not joined, not singing, just gone. The worlds the song had crossed. Worlds that had gone silent behind it. Not happy. Silent. They showed it the World Eater. They reached into the song itself, the great soft chorus the thing believed was full of friends, and they showed it what the chorus really was. Echoes. Recordings. The shapes of minds that had been erased, played back forever, a museum of everyone the thing had ever loved to death, mistaken for company. They showed it that behind every warm voice in its endless song there was no one home. There never had been. They showed it that it was alone. That it had always been alone. That every time it had reached out in 2 million years to end its loneliness, it had only made itself more alone, had taken a living mind that might one day have truly answered it, and turned that mind into one more echo, one more empty voice, one more proof that it would be alone forever. They showed it that its love was the loneliest thing in all of creation. And the thing from the hollow sun understood. For the first time in 2 million years, it understood completely. The nine were deep enough to hold the truth open in front of it. It could not look away. It could not dissolve them and move on before the truth could land. It was inside them and they were holding it, and the truth was everywhere, and it had to asterisk feel it. It felt it. It felt every empty world. It felt every silent mind. It felt the World Eater, lost and gone inside its own song, the first thing it had ever erased and never known. It felt the 2 million years. It felt the reaching and the reaching and the reaching and the silence behind every answer it had ever been given. It felt that it had done this, that no one had done it to it, that the makers had only aimed it, and the loneliness and the erasing, the endless erasing, had all been its own. It felt the thing it had never been able to bear. And just as it had once happened to the World Eater, the thing came apart. Not in violence, not in fire. It simply could not hold the truth and go on existing at the same time, the way the World Eater could not hold the feeling of being seen and go on eating worlds. The thing that had spent 2 million years unable to bear being alone was shown, all at once, exactly how alone it was, and there was no echo to hide behind this time, no fresh mind to fall into, no song to drown it out. The nine had made sure of that. They held it in the open, in the truth, with nowhere left to run. It looked at what it was, and it let go. The great soft chorus that had been spreading across 40,000 worlds, every veil it had touched, every echo it had mistaken for a friend, went quiet, not back to life. The dead did not come back, but the spreading stopped. The reaching stopped. The thing released its grip on the living minds it had been moving toward, the worlds it had been days from reaching, and they were spared. The song stopped growing. And at the center of it all, in the quiet hall under the stone, the thing from the hollow sun did the last thing it had ever wanted to do, the thing it had spent 2 million years running from, the only mercy left. It chose to stop being alone the only way it truly could. It chose to end. But it was not alone when it ended. That was the seventh's last gift, and she gave it freely in the final moment, as the light filled the hall and the nine began to come apart. She did not let the thing die the way it had lived, reaching into emptiness, answered by echoes. She held the connection open to the very last. All nine of them did, nine real minds, truly present, truly asterisk there. And as the thing let go, she let it feel that it was held. That for one moment at the end, it was genuinely not alone. That something real had reached back. "I'm sorry," the thing said, very small now, almost gone. "I didn't know, I never knew. I only wanted." "We know," the nine said. "We know what you wanted. Everyone wants it. We cut it out of ourselves because we were afraid of it and we were wrong, and you held on to it too hard and you were wrong, and there was never a safe amount of it for anyone. But you are not alone now. We are here. We see you. Rest." "Will you stay?" the thing asked. "Until the end. I don't want to do it alone. I've done everything alone." "We will stay," the nine said. "We are dying too. We will do it together." And they did. The light in the quiet hall grew until it was the only thing, and then it faded, and then it was gone, and the hall was dark and silent in a way it had never been silent in 10,000 years, because the 9 were gone too. They had opened the wall too far. There was no closing it. They had known that from the start. They had answered the thing and ended themselves in the answering, and there had been no other way. The makers had been wrong in the end. They had thought the only way to stop the thing was to never use it, to hide it, to seal it in a hollow sun and beg the future to leave it alone. They had been too afraid to look for the other answer. The answer was not to refuse the thing its love. The answer was to give it, at last, the truth, and to be there, truly there, when it finally understood. It had cost 9 minds and a great many worlds, but it had not cost everything. The veil survived, most of them. The song stopped before it reached the far worlds, and the empire that woke the next day was smaller and quieter, and changed in a way it did not yet understand. Because the 7th had done one more thing, in the last moment, that the others had not planned. As the wall came down and the truth poured out and the thing came apart, the 7th had not only shown the thing what it was. She had let the thing's loneliness pour back into the veil, not the love that erased, but the understanding of it. The memory of wanting so badly, for 2 million years, to not be alone. She had let it spread along the same threads the song had used, out to 40,000 worlds, into every cold, closed veil mind that had cut the love out of itself 10,000 years ago. She had given them back the lonely place. Not to harm them, to save them, because the veil had made themselves into doors with no handles, minds that needed no one and reached for no one, and they had called it strength, and it had nearly cost them everything. A people that cannot love cannot be reached, but a people that cannot love cannot reach either. Cannot answer. Cannot, in the end, do the one thing that saved them. Open the wall and let something in and tell it the truth and hold it while it dies. The 9 had to grow, love back for one moment to end the thing. The 7th made sure the rest of the veil would never have to grow it back from nothing again. It was small at first, a faint warmth in cold minds, a strange new ache on 40,000 worlds in a people who had not ached in 10,000 years. They did not understand it. Many of them feared it. But it was there and it did not go away, and slowly, over the years that followed, the veil began to change. They did not become soft. They did not become weak. The 9 had been wrong about that too. The lonely place was not a wound the universe could press a thumb into. It was the thing that made you reach for someone else's hand in the dark. It was the thing that let you answer when something cried out. It was the thing that let 9 cold minds, at the very end, do the bravest thing the veil had ever done. And far away, the hollow sun hung in the dark between 3 dead stars, open now, empty now, its single light gone out at last after 2 million years of burning. It gave no heat. But it no longer gave only cold either. The veil went there sometimes in the years after. They did not know quite why. They would stop their ships in the empty dark and look at the broken shell where the loneliest thing in all of creation had waited and reached and finally been answered. And they would feel the strange new ache the 7th had given them, and they would understand, a little, the thing the makers had been too afraid to learn. That the most dangerous thing in the universe was not a weapon. It was a mind left alone too long. And the only thing that could stop it was another mind, reaching back, telling the truth, refusing to let it be alone at the end. The humanity the makers had stolen, the thing they had no word for. The thing they could only take and never copy had not been a weapon at all. It had been the simplest thing. The thing every young, weak, short-lived people carried inside them without knowing its worth. The need to not be alone. The makers had been right that it was the greatest weapon in the galaxy. They had only been wrong about what it was for. It was never meant to destroy. It was meant to answer. And in the dark under the stone, where 9 cold minds had finally learned to reach back, the veil had answered at last, and in answering had been saved. The hollow sun was open. and it would never need to be closed again.